Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Public Infrastructure, Environmental, and Sustainability Committee. We're going to start off this afternoon. It's been requested that on the consent agenda, number 2, reimbursement agreement with Spokane Transit Authority, be pulled and put in the discussion item, so we will add that to the agenda. Going forward, we are going to start with the resolution for the retail water service, and we'll ask Marlene Weiss to come on down.
Cheryl and I walked and I'm still dripping. So that's the one I sent you, Jacoby. And Elizabeth's here as well. All right, so we're just going to talk a little bit about the retail water service area. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of background. Are you going to?
Get the clicker down there? Oh, we'll go through it.
Okay. So the Spokane County Coordinated Water System Plan defines where each water purveyor is supposed to provide water to the residents and businesses. It was originally developed in 1977. It's been updated a couple times. The last really comprehensive update to that plan was in 1999. The county is proposing another update now. But the boundaries defined through the Coordinated Water System Plan, each purveyor gets a water service area, and that boundary is defined by that plan. And then within that, we have a retail water service area where we are already providing service and where we have commitments to serve. And then there's also future water service areas. So within our big boundary, we have the retail water boundary, and then anything outside that is the future water service area for the city. We also have wholesale agreements. Wholesale agreements are purveyor to purveyor, where another purveyor provides the direct service to the customer. So in Airway Heights, for example, we have an intertie with Airway Heights. We provide service to them, but within their service area, they're responsible for the distribution to the customers within their service area. And this was down, right? So here's a look at this is the map of the County Coordinated Water System Plan. So ours is sort of the tan area in the middle. It encompasses, of course, every area, every place within the city of Spokane, except for there's a couple places that are in another district from where annexations got weird that I think Councilmember Cathcart lives in one of those. But primarily, it's everything within the city. And then you can see we have the largest service area. The light green to the top is the second largest provider. That's Whitworth's water service area. And then there's a lot of other ones. Everything that you've probably heard of. Airway Heights has its own service area, Medical Lake. Then there's a lot of districts, Irrigation District number 8, Spokane County Conservation District number 3, and so forth. So within that, you can see the light green is our retail water service area, and the blue is our future service area. So what we're talking about is that in 2015, we reduced the size of the retail water service area to include just the properties that we were serving at the time and those that we had a specific covenant or commitment to serve. So today what we're proposing is expanding the retail water service area to include all those things we talked about, plus anything within the UGA that is in our water service area, so in that tan area. And we want to do that for a number of reasons. One, administratively, it makes a lot more sense. You don't have to have Eldon Brown come parcel by parcel within the UGA, which primarily you've approved anyway. It's a lot of extra work. Operationally, it makes sense for us to know that those areas are areas that we should be expected to serve right now. And then the other thing is it provides predictability for property owners. And as a community, we've said these UGA areas are where we want to see service happen. It also makes it consistent with where we can provide sewer. We can provide sewer within the UGA only. So that is our recommendation. And then what's next is we want to look at other areas too in the future, consider where else we should be expanding the retail water service area. We're not asking you to do anything with that today, but just kind of something to kind of keep your mind on. So there's some possibilities. We just drew like some red bubbles around, but we really want to work with planning as they go through their comprehensive plan update. Where does it make sense for us to grow, and where do we want to signal to property owners that this is where we have the ability to serve? And that's on a variety of different levels, right? So the planning process is really the place to take care of that, but it's good for planning to also consider where we have the ability to serve with our utilities, where we have capacity to serve more customers. So that's what we're looking at. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing this forward. I think marrying up our water retail area with the UGA is something that makes a ton of sense. I've been advocating for that for quite a while, so I'm really glad this has come forward from the administration. I am, in terms of where future service should include, I think we have to look at that northern portion of the NEPDA as a priority area, since there really is no active provider in there right now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that, I think, whoops, which way to go backwards? That way. So you can see what the area he's talking about gets pretty complicated, and some of it's Whitworth's area. There was a couple of Kaiser districts that are kind of defunct now. The purple in the real northwest corner, that's Spokane Irrigation District number 8. So some of the NEPDA encompasses those other districts. So that's one thing that we probably do need to resolve. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't know if we have to sort of pull together the entire, countywide sort of group of purveyors and kind of figure this out. To me, it makes a ton of sense that we should get this done, especially in advance of the work that we're doing on the GMA steering and comp plan and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the adjacent providers would be the logical choice to those, like those Kaiser ones. I mean, I think Whitworth took over one of them, and so there's stuff to look at. I mean, it's not just the city's interest, but to have active water providers would be helpful.
Well, and making sure they have the water rights and
Right.
capacities.
Right.
So, Marlene, I know that just 2 years ago, we were having this discussion about water and where we were going to provide it, and that we were not using our water to our maximum capacity going forward. And that if we were not using our water to our maximum capacity, then some of those rights could be rolled back on the city. So am I kind of halfway clear on that?
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth's really the expert, but we have basically perfected rights of water that we're using, and we have inchoate rights, water that's on reserve. Our service area is very large, as you can see, compared to the other service areas within the community. And really the intent was that the city should step up and be more of a regional purveyor. And we do that through a number of things. We do that through those interconnections between other service providers, and we also do it by offering service, for example, within the full UGA boundary. So as much as we can continue to work on that path, I think it helps set us up for success in the future. I don't know, Elizabeth, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, so it's part of the strategic discussion that we've had with what it's like to be, or what the responsibilities are with being a regional water purveyor. As you can see, the city of Spokane is the largest water purveyor. It was designed that way, the whole coordinated water system plan and the way the water paper rights were allocated, so that the city would step up to be the regional planner, because there's a lot of efficiencies with the large system. We're a Class A public water system. We're regulated heavily with the Department of Health. We have experts in-house that know how to run the system, that can comply with all the rules and regulations. Now, to your question on use it or lose it is the type of that phrase in the water world that we use. The city has paper water and we have perfected water. So perfected water is water that's actually being used and delivered to the customers. Paper water is the amount of water the city has a right to actually pull from the water source. And being the largest regional water purveyor, we have a lot of paper water to grow, because it's expected we'll be the purveyors for the next 100, 200, 300 years, and we will grow accordingly and serve water accordingly. So there are two opportunities where that paper water can change. That's when you request a change from ecology, or when there's an adjudication. So if we ask for ecology to change a water right, there's an opportunity for ecology to cut back on some of the paper. When we go through our adjudication, which is a court determination of who has a right to draw from the source, then the court will make an allocation, if you will, and say, okay, Spokane, you get this amount, Whitworth, you get this amount, and kind of dole it out with anticipatory growth built in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's a long answer to a short question.
Yeah. So have we heard from Whitworth that they're looking at expanding their capacity, or just the city of Spokane? Is anybody else
What was that
talking
first
about?
part?
So Whitworth being the second largest water purveyor, has there been any conversation of them expanding their provider area? Or we're just really talking about what we can do?
Well, we only have control and authority over the city of Spokane's water service area that's developed through the Coordinated Water System Plan. Each of these different colored areas represent a different water purveyor, and they're all part of the puzzle for coordinated water service in the entire county. So if Whitworth is growing and they have enough water to support that growth, then that's within their water system plan and their purview. We're looking pretty much at Spokane and Spokane's growth potential and the water we have available to be able to serve customers in the gray area there.
Right.
That make sense?
Councilman Bingle, yes.
Of our paper capacity, what is the amount that we've used?
So we have approximately 147,000 acre feet, and we are using nearly 80,000 acre feet, give or take.
Okay.
So we're about 60% maybe?
60%, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've had paper, we've been a water purveyor since the late 1800s. So you're talking about 120 years that we've grown into that capacity. So we have, in theory, rights in anticipation for the next 1 to 200 years.
Great. Any other questions for them? As I'm reminded, we are the de facto water board, so all this will come back to us. Any other questions, reach out to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to have Kelly come up with establishing the Climate Resiliency and Sustainability Board. And Adam?
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you about the Climate Resilience and Sustainability Board that we'll be establishing. And that is replacing the Sustainability Action Committee that is discussed in 436 in the SMC. So this would in effect repeal that section of the code, repeal the need to have a Sustainability Action Committee, which has not been impaneled by the last two administrations. So this is going to finally be standing up that board. It's had a couple of name changes, Sustainability Action Committee, the Community Resilience and Sustainability Board as recommended by the mayor's transition team, and now calling it the Climate Resilience and Sustainability Board. So what it'll do, it'll be very similar to the steering committee, the Sustainability Action Subcommittee Council created, and the steering committee. It'll be made up of 15 members with a very broad representation from the community with a focus on disproportionate environmental disparities, groups that are going to be focusing on that, individuals with expertise in climate planning, emergency management, entrepreneurs, and some students from the local schools and universities. We have quite a bit of interest, as you wouldn't be surprised to hear, from our external partners who are anxious to get this board stood up so that we can get them on the board and serving with us. The role of the board will be primarily, its first task is to serve on the Climate Policy Advisory Committee for the climate portion of the comprehensive plan update. And planning is here if you have any specific questions about that. That'll be a big lift, a big piece of the task of this board to help them with that. And we will be reaching out to the community, and this board will help serve in that capacity, in addition to updating the Sustainability Action Plan and advising the mayor on funding and projects going forward on climate resilience and sustainability. Any questions? Yes.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I guess is there, well, I guess first, will this follow all OPMA rules, laws, et
I
cetera?
believe so, yes.
Will all the meetings be filmed so that people can watch? Seems like they're going to make some pretty consequential decisions and.
Absolutely. I would imagine that'll be up to the board and to decide, but I don't see any major hurdles to that.
Okay. Well,
We've-
I hope they would agree to that, to have their conversations be public. And I guess my other question is there sort of a predetermined or some sort of expectation that the administration is hoping will come out of this group
Any
in terms of
predetermined-
recommendations, in terms of policies? Because it
Not-
feels like the group itself is a pretty kind of one-direction group, right? You don't have a lot of alternative perspectives. You don't have other ideas. You don't have other things being kind of brought to the forefront with this group. And so I'm just wondering, is there an outcome that's wanted by narrowing this group to such a very narrow group of folks?
I would actually beg to differ. I think this is a fresh start for this board. I think that, the application period will open as soon as this is voted upon and passed. So we will be reaching out to the community and offering that opportunity. We want disparate views. We want people to come in and challenge the notions and to talk to us together about what the goals of the city are and the region. So we're talking about resilience. We're talking about sustainability. We're talking about how that fulfills the climate element of the comprehensive plan update. And these are requirements that are coming from the state, and so we're required to follow those. This group will be helping with that. I don't see that it's going to be a narrow focus. I think this is going to be a great step in the right direction. I think it's going to not necessarily legitimize the work, but it's going to bring it forward in ways that can be enacted in policy that haven't been in the past.
Well, the last comment I'll make, I just think the categories seem to be very narrow. The options for the number of folks seems to be very narrow. Even on the SAS, we had a lot of folks that had very different perspectives, albeit certainly in the minority in that group, but they had those perspectives there. And I feel like we're going to lose all of that here. And in fact, there's really not a lot of emphasis on cost, which to me is huge in this conversation. And there's zero emphasis on housing. The impacts to housing through these policies alone are substantial. And there's no requirement to have a developer there, a builder who understands the building costs. There's no economist to talk about the impacts to the community. I just think there's so many positions that are absent from this that the outcome is just going to be very narrow. And so I'm very concerned.
Point taken. I don't see any requirements in here that would prevent that from happening. So there's plenty of room for an economist. There's plenty of room for people from businesses. There's plenty of room for people from the housing sector. So let's see who applies. Let's see how the board shapes up. But I don't that we specifically structured it in such a way so that it would not be narrow in focus, so that we wouldn't have to fill certain positions. Say we need one or two that have to be from academia. We have to have somebody from a utility. So we're trying to keep it broad. I would also add that we are going to emphasize having a council member as a liaison this time regularly attend the meetings, which will be very important. Any other questions?
None, other than another opportunity for a council member to sit on a committee. So thank you very much.
Yep.
Council President, I have
Thank you.
you listed as a sponsor.
Yes.
I need one more council member sponsor.
Yeah.
Councilmember Klitsky.
Would never allow that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. Chris is going to come up, talk about some trucks and Cyclone. Welcome.
Thank you and good afternoon. Today I'm here to discuss upcoming SIP loan request for the purchase of solid waste collections vehicles. Today's presentation is just informational. You'll actually see the formal request for the SIP loan upcoming at a finance committee meeting. So to start off with, for those that weren't on council at the time, the little backstory on 2024 rate setting process and budget constraints. Utility rates historically have been held constant at 2.9% for 10 plus years, but due to unique inflationary pressures for solid waste, the rate itself was kept at 2.9%, but all of that was applied to solid waste funds for 2024. And up on the table there, you can see some of the goods and services associated with what we do and the inflationary increases from 2021. So you can see that they range anywhere from 30 to 400%, and the resulting annual impact, adds up to several $1 million a year in additional expenditures. So with the rate increase, even with that and the continued expenses, it was a step in the right direction, but we knew that reserves would continue to be tight at the end of 2024. This is a graph of the CPI index. This is kind of showing a similar trend. This incorporates, labor costs and other inflationary pressures. So as you can see, things have kind of leveled out, returned to normalcy, 3 to 4%, but there's a considerable gap to close there from past years that continue to impact us. So after the rates were set, the budget was submitted in 2024. We experienced two surprises that added additional expenses. The first was fleet expenses, and I'll go into further details on the causes of those on the next slide. And then the second was that additional 1% utility tax increase, which was a significant expense added to our budget. So the factors impacting fleet costs, first and foremost, was age of fleet. Due to COVID disruptions, we went 3 years without receiving any new solid waste collections vehicles. So there was a significant delay. It aged our fleet and basically hit a wall and tripled our fleet expenses towards the end of last year. So the good news is that the suppliers are starting to get caught up. By August, we should have all of 2023's orders in hand, and then, by the end of 24, early 2025, we should receive the current orders. Second contributing factor was fleet staffing. Fleet had shortages, and as a result, a lot of work had to be contracted out until they could get people hired. And so as a result of that, that increased our repair costs. And then finally, there are some deficiencies in their billing program that we would have work that was completed 6 to 8 months prior, but by the time the work order was closed out and it would actually hit our books, we would see it at that point. And so that's a lot of the spike that you see on the previous graph for the fleet expenses. So the SIP loan request is for $3.9 million for the purchase of 7 solid waste collections vehicles. The intent is to fund any additional fleet repairs through cost reductions and additional revenue. As the graph showed, that deferring these purchases ends up, costing us more in the end in terms of repairs to keep our existing fleet on the road. And the SIP loan will help guarantee financial reserves and put us in a stable position going forward to allow more time for the increased rates to catch up. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes?
Councilman Packard and Councilman Bingle.
Yeah, are these, and I don't have the briefing paper in front of me, I apologize, but are these all for refuse? Are they recycling? Are they green?
Yeah,
clean?
so there'll be 4 automated side loaders, which are used for residential pickup, and then there'll be 3 front load trucks, which are commercial dumpsters. So that will comprise the 7 vehicles for 2024.
And then are these essentially the same trucks that we have now? We're just buying new models? Okay.
Yep, correct.
And that was my question. So are they going to be the RNG vehicles, or what is the fuel source?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep, they're all RNG.
So, Chris, with the purchase of these new 7 vehicles, are we retiring any vehicles?
Yeah, well, once we receive the vehicles, so what happens is that we have an identified list of replacement vehicles prioritized. So once we get new ones in, then those at the top of the list that are based off of repair expenses are then auctioned off. So our intent is to reduce the size of our fleet, but we've been unable to do so because we've had to maintain other vehicles just to make sure we have enough on a daily basis. So this will put us on better footing.
Okay, great. Councilman Bingle.
Speaking of better footing, do any of these ride a little smoother than the ones we have now?
Yes,
good.
Especially the front load vehicles, those are all 8+ years old, so they are definitely a little smoother. So.
All right.
So
I apparently went for a ride in one of the good ones, and I would have thought it was the worst one. But
it's different riding in the passenger seat than the driver's seat,
Okay.
but yeah, it's definitely not
Okay.
a comfortable, smooth ride. So
And Chris, what's the average life cycle of these trucks?
it depends on the application, but typically 8 to 10 years is what we target, and that's industry standard. Usually the new truck will be assigned to a permanent daily route, and then once it's 4 to 5 years of age, then it's allocated to a backup, and then a couple years later it's surplused.
Any other questions for Chris?
All right, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the Housing Navigation Center, and Ariel's going to come and brief us on that.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for letting me speak a little bit today. I do want to say as a preface that if council members would like a deeper presentation about the Housing Navigation Center model, CHHS is happy to provide that either by way of a one-on-one or we're happy to come back next week with something more kind of formalized. So just let me know if that's an interest. So today, what we are asking for is essentially the Housing Navigation Center RFP went out early June. Had one response, which was from Empire Health Foundation and Revive as the primary service provider. EHF, Empire Health Foundation, would act as the operator. So slightly different contract model than what CHHS is accustomed to. And that was done with some intentionality and went before, vetted its way through the CHHS RFP committee, which I did attach the scoring rubric to the briefing paper, as well as the RFP itself, just for reference. And then that recommendation before the CHHS board was passed to move forward with the Empire Health Foundation and Revive as the primary service provider. So I think what would be more beneficial is if you all have some specific questions, I am happy to answer those as it relates to the Navigation Center and kind of just the overall scattered model that we are proposing. Yes.
Councilman Cathcart.
Yeah, and I would like that more detailed presentation, but more so, I think the public should get that detailed presentation. I think that's something that they should see. This is a pretty big change. My only question, and I know Zeke is here, I got an email this morning saying that Empire is changing their focus, changing where they're investing, and there was no talk about homelessness or sort of urban type investments. And I'm just wondering about the long-term sort of commitment to this kind of a deal if they're changing their trajectory.
So that is not something I am prepared to answer. I was not aware of that email today, so I would be speaking completely uninformed. So
it was just part of their strategic plan. I think they sent it out to their subscriber list, and I was just looking at it. But I just thought that it seems strange to not have or even a reference to homelessness in that and then be taking on this new contract. So
I am absolutely capable of going back after this and having an answer for you before I leave for the end of the day today. So.
Councilman Bingle.
And where is this going to be located at?
So that is yet to be determined. I mean, the RFP itself was not specific, right, in terms of where that navigation center would be housed. So this is going to be part of that conversation moving forward is what does that look like? So I know that there is, it could go a couple of different ways, right? So we've got to be nimble enough, as I stated in the briefing paper and then in the RFP, to sort that out once the contract negotiations start. So I'm not 100% sure yet.
Okay. Has any work been done on a facility with this in mind, or is work happening right now in any facilities with this in mind?
As it concerns the Housing Navigation Center, no.
Okay. Because my understanding of this was that this was going to be at 32 West 2nd, and that there was a space being developed there for this with 27 beds. And I had asked the administration about this specific space, and they said it's not a shelter, it's a temporary pop-up housing, navigation center. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out, because it was, I believe, going to be that partnership that you were describing.
And when you say 32 West Pacific, are you speaking about the House of Charity? Is that?
No, I believe it's 32 West 2nd.
Providence.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Providence location?
Yeah.
They had a
Oh.
clinic.
A building shared with Providence.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So no, not to my knowledge. That has not been identified.
Okay.
What I will say is that, I think what you have mentioned is that the idea of the navigation center and I always mean to bring water up here with me. Every time I leave, I'm like, I should have brought water, is that it would be a short-term stay, right? So 30, 45 days. And that is something that will be, we will be monitoring that. That will be part of that data, the overall data performance. Ideally, they're there for even shorter amount of time before a more appropriate scattered site shelter is identified. So.
Is there any way that we can get information that we have on the even suggested sites or sites that have been floated around?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So Ariel, I'll ask, under this new model with a third party in the middle, who does the monitoring and where does the accountability lie? So is that Empire Health Foundation and then we hold them accountable for the outcomes? What does that look like?
Yes, that is what that, ultimately, that's what that looks like from a contractual perspective. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. So, yes, in an operator-type relationship, that is what that would look like. But, one of the things, again, that I'll come back to is that in that RFP, one of the most critical pieces to the success of this program is going to be that constant feedback loop, right? So whether that is with the operator, primary service provider, neighborhood councils, other community providers, right? So all of that has to also has to be in place for the success of this program. The data performance measurements, some of it is going to be informed by the 5-year plan. So, they are going to have to adhere to some of the basic data requirements that are outlined in the 5-year, but then there's room for additional data performance too, right? So, and that can be informed again by council, by city staff, by other providers, just the community at large. So,
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, and will those kind of data requirements, metrics be something in the contract that they have to meet or
Yes.
the contract gets
Yes,
pulled?
every contract that CHHS has outlines those data measurements and those expectations. So
If that's the case, I'm sure there are many providers who are not meeting those expectations. So it sounds like we need to do some research and see who is complying with the contracts they've signed.
Absolutely. So the HHOS contracts that have just recently, they will be going into effect this year. As I've stated, I think I'm already on the study session for September to report out to you all that the first quarterly APR for those contracts. So rest assured that this will be happening, and we've already done and taken the steps necessary to make sure that is solidified.
And
So,
just one
yeah.
quick question, if you could, and we'll probably get more into it when we have a more detailed presentation, but what are just the basic expectations of the activities that will take place in the Navigation Center? Like in particular, how would it be different than track?
Well,
Other than size, but
which I think is significant, actually, right? So, I think having a smaller site that lends itself more to having those relationships, and I know that it's hard to measure relationships, right? But really important to have that connection with an individual that you're working with on the front line that's coming in from off the street. So that being said, I would say that that's a significant thing, and being able to actually take that time necessary to sort out what are the needs of that individual, right? And that's I think also the beauty of having a scattered site model is that you're going to have a variety of different models that may fit better, right? So it's not a one size fits all. We're going to take the time to get to know you, understand what your needs are, where you're at medically, which can involve a whole host of things, and get you to the correct provider. And that may not always be a referral to a scattered site too. I do want to make that clear that maybe that's, working with home and community, finding an adult family home or a group home. It could be it could be a whole spectrum of things that you don't really know. But having the smaller number will be significant.
But is it anticipated to be a one-stop shop? I mean, the mental health counseling will be there, the career counseling will be there, the drug addiction treatment will be there, is that the expectation?
That would be the intent, yes. Yeah. And again, everybody presents differently, right? So I don't want to say that everybody is going to be taking advantage of all those things because I think it depends on where they're at in that moment. But will the options be there? Yes.
So Ariel, before we let you go,
Yeah.
my concern is we've yet to have one of these contracts come before us that we don't have to come back to amend the contract for financial reasons.
Right.
So we would certainly like that financial monitoring piece
Yes.
going forward. I think will be critical as we build this relationship and expectations, because they've agreed to do it for this amount of money. I do not personally don't want to say, hey, we overspent and we need another 500,000 or another $1 million to execute this contract.
Correct.
I think
Yes.
council would not be happy
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions for Ariel? All right, thank you very much. Oh, one more, Mr. Councilmember Bingham?
So just a couple things. So this is going to be a separate space, though, from the Cannon facility.
It could be, I don't know yet
Okay.
what it actually looks like. So you've all given me a task to go and sort out other available sites, so that's what I'm going to do, and I will get back to you all before I leave for the day.
And then my last question is on the 30 to 45 days stay that, we're a short-term stay there, is there going to be any hard stop on that at all where it's like 45 is the maximum, day 46?
And you're out?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of that contract
Yeah.
negotiation, right? Is that we have to sort that out. And what does that look like? So yeah, TBD on that, but I understand. I mean, that will have to be sorted out within the contract. I mean, that's an important component.
Because I obviously have only had 2.5 years worth of experience dealing with this situation, but it seems to me that in every one of our occurrences we say, okay, it's intended to be a short stay, right? And then we help move you on, and then years later we are still serving the same population or the same individuals in that same facility. And so my concern is that we'll say it's a 30 to 45 day stay, and it ends up being a 2-year stay, which is what I've experienced in many of these places.
Well, and I can't speak specifically to that instance. I think that oftentimes what that is a reflection of is the lack of available intervention type in our community, right? So if somebody needs a higher level of care and they are unable to take care of themselves, if they go in and out of respite care, there's a whole host of reasons why that might be the case, right? So, and I think that's part of what we are going to be doing, this data collection, right, in the next year, is to sort out why didn't they exit? If they did not exit to a permanent housing or exit to an emergency shelter, or in this case, a scattered site, why is that the case? Is it because their needs were so high and so significant that the community could not be responsive to that? And that would make for good, good information in terms of policy making, so.
Councilman Cathcart.
Yeah, real quick. So if I didn't realize Canon was in the mix on this. If Canon is in the mix, I would love to get some more details just on what that transaction looks like, that partnership. Are we selling it? Are we leasing it? What does that look like?
Yes. Oh, no. And so let me just make it very clear. I mean, this is all going to be out in the ether. I just don't know what that looks like. I don't know what any of this looks like yet. So we're just at the beginning stages of approving, hopefully getting to council the actual contract itself. So, and the recommendations by CHHS. So.
Well, thank you, Ariel, for your time. I'm sure we'll have you back
Yes,
soon.
you will. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to extensions of our appointees, and we're going to have, is Maggie or Adam going to do all of them? You're going to do all of them? Okay. 5, 6, and 7. Adam will take those.
So the municipal code requires that individuals serving in interim roles or acting roles as department heads greater than 180 days be brought forward for council to extend those. We have 3 really great team members coming forward for an extension for up to 90 days. That's Interim Chief Lundgren, Interim Chief Innovation Officer Mike Sloan, and Interim Parks Director Jason Conley. So these will be briefed this afternoon and come before you for consideration on the 22nd. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And thanks, Council President, for letting us get it on the agenda.
Yeah. Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, just wondering on the extension for Garrett, where is that at?
The city administrator is not subject to.
Doesn't need it?
No.
Okay.
All right. Councilmember Bingham?
Even with an interim, we don't need a,
No.
no? All right, cool.
That was asked.
All right.
Yeah, that was asked. I agree, 3 great candidates for extension, so anything else? I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. So now we'll go on, let's get back to the reimbursement with Spokane Transit Authority. Somebody from Public Works. Marlene's going to do that.
So thank you, Council President. So this agreement just allows for STA to reimburse for some staff time that we spend helping with the BRT project. So council approved a similar contract for the pre-engineering phase that's now in the design phase. So that contract doesn't cover this portion of the work. So basically what we do is we make sure that we have appropriate comments coming out from the city, facilitate that so that we have what STA needs to be able to move ahead timely. We do conflict resolution between the city and STA and those kinds of things. And as part of their project, they do have funding to be able to reimburse for that work.
Councilmember Bingham?
So STA is giving us money.
Correct.
Great.
All right. We'll take it. That clears it? All right. Thank you, Marlene. All right, on to committee reports. So I'm going to start with Abby with traffic calming.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm using the template that our office has recently created for updates, so no slides, but maybe at the next one. For highlights, I was just wanting to share with you all that Transportation Commission efforts are moving forward. Currently, if you go on to the city's website where it shows vacancies for boards and commissions, you can read a blurb about the Transportation Commission. It'll show you also the composition of the board, what we're looking for, and then there's a link to apply. So that's just for your knowledge, for your constituents. Really looking forward to standing up that board. In the meantime, the boards and commissions whose scope of work will feed into Transportation Commission are still, that work is still continuing, so nothing gets dropped. So that was one update. Council President received some questions and wonderings from Community Assembly when she attended last week, and I've passed those along to our internal work group. We meet later on this week. I know you all have been curious about a work plan and what the scope of that commission's duties look like. So we'll be working on that later on this week. And again, passed on the Community Assembly's questions, issues, concerns. And then just to highlight, I've really enjoyed working with our internal work group. Chris has been super helpful, Adam, Spencer, and Colin, so just wanted to shout out all of that effort. It's been a big lift, but everyone's done a great job, and I'm very grateful to be part of that team. Ongoing projects or collaborative efforts. I've been working with Chris and the Traffic Calming Council members and staff counterparts on establishing intent and purpose behind the Traffic Calming Fund. So really codifying and saying what that fund's permissible uses are and or aren't. There's work being done on that to basically align it with state legislation and Safe Streets initiatives. And there's several ideas for potential uses in play, including SPD's traffic enforcement, adaptive design efforts to be done this year in our neighborhoods, enhanced protection for bike lanes, and creation of a sidewalk pilot program. So that'll be more to come on that. Current challenges, I would just share with the sidewalk pilot program in our initial conversations. There's acknowledgement across the board that a little bit of money doesn't get you very far. So, but we've talked at our traffic calming meeting last week that something. We're hearing from the community repeatedly, we would like some kind of a sidewalk program. And so the conversation has been, this could be money used in a pilot to get something stood up, a real program that people can opt into, buy into. More to come. It's complicated. $1 million doesn't get us very far, but it does demonstrate a good faith effort and an investment in our community. Any questions?
Thank you.
I'll take my shaky self away.
I know Lisa's not here with us. Do you want to go back to the top of the list for our updates? So we've kind of heard from Kelly about sustainability action. Any other comments, Kitty? Councilmember Klitsky and Navarrete?
Yeah, I think she covered it.
Okay. And on to traffic calming, if we want to add anything else to what Abby just shared. Councilmember Zappone?
Yeah, I'll just add that Abby really covered a lot of what the discussions are, and it's very active. We are doing a lot of work there, and I appreciate all the staff that's working on it.
So I'll take on the airport board. As you know, we have a bond coming before us to sign the MOU. What's going on out there is they are looking at building a new administrative building and the second phase of remodeling on Concourse C, and also putting in a new fuel tank. So there's two currently out at the airport. They're looking to add a third one just to meet capacity. So more to come on that.
Broadlink, just continuing to move forward with that. We are hoping to get kind of a technical update from Arian next month, just to let council know just all of what Broadlink's doing. It's extremely technical. But I guess the bigger news for that is that the Valley is finally jumping on board. They've signed their agreement, and so there may be a slight restructuring of the board to include a representative from the Valley. So, but that's slowly moving forward.
Councilman Cathcart, how many is on that board, the Broadlink?
5, Mayor Cooper, myself, Commissioner Cooney, there's 1 or 2 more, but it's no more than 5.
Okay, thank you. All right, parking advisory.
It has not met, and I think that's going to be wrapped into the Transportation Commission now.
Okay. And the salmon restoration?
Still trying to get that group to meet.
All right. Solid waste?
Same.
No, okay. Regional Transportation Council, Councilmember Klitsky and I were there last week. A lot of conversation going on about regional modeling of traffic. There's not unanimous agreement on the model that was approved on as we go forward, so more to come on that. But also the board did give direction to SRTC to apply for a Safe Streets grant for adaptive design to build on. And so we're pretty excited. The executive director says they were reached out to by the federal government and encouraged them to apply for this monies because there has been little interest. So our fingers are crossed. It could be up into the millions. I can't remember the exact number, but if we should be awarded, it would greatly impact adaptive designs in Spokane. So we look forward to that. And STA. Go ahead.
I'll kick it off if other people want to add to it, but I think the biggest update there is that the CEO, Susan Meyer, announced that she is retiring at the end of the year, and so we'll be starting a process for a CEO search, and that I'm part of the board operations committee, and that meets this week, so we'll be discussing this week what that process will look like. I think I learned a lot from the process for the police chief search, and we'll be taking that to the committee to make some suggestions about how that process went, because I think that involved a lot of community input. Another thing, so STA is working on 3 plans all at the same time right now. 2 big ones and 1 annual, the 6-year update. That's up for a vote this month at the board meeting. I don't think there's any major updates in the 6-year plan, but the 2 other updates are the comprehensive plan which is called Connect Spokane, and then Connect 2035, which is the 10-year plan with a list of initiatives on what to do with about $100 million in investments. And STA is going out right now for community input. We have a full draft of the comprehensive plan for input with the goal of adopting that by October. And then Connect 2035, they're packaging the different initiatives into, there's a huge list that is way over $100 million worth of projects, and they're gonna put them into a few packages for consideration and community input with the goal of adoption of that by the end of the year. And so those are two important things that people should be providing feedback. On the comprehensive plan, that'll be sooner. Couple major updates. One's on a creation of an equity policy. Can't remember the formal name of the equity policy, but that's the idea of it. And then there's also changes to allow a creation of a low-income fare. Right now, the comprehensive plan prohibits that, and the update of the comprehensive plan would allow, they don't call it means testing, they call it fare types based on qualifications. And so that is in student age, income, all of those would be allowed. And then also a change in the definition of fare box recovery. Fare box recovery is how much is paid for by riders on the fares, how much that accounts for their total ridership or the total cost of it. And this would change the measurement to allow number of riders to be accounted for in that recovery costs. And so this is a new type of way to measure that. So if people have feedback on that, please give that feedback to STA.
Great, thank you. I think, Councilmember Zepone, we should probably have STA come and do us a presentation on Connect 2035. Really, you have to kind of see it in the big picture because there's a lot going on there. If there's nothing else to come before this committee, we are adjourned, and we'll see you back at 3:30. Thank you all.